comp on their side, as they made it look like they had the better one in that game. Gen.G on blue side for the last time in this series. I imagine T1's bans will remain largely the same. I mentioned the Rumble Vi being open with no Aurora. It could come up in this series and may alter T1's bans if they're worried about that Vi pick.
It's definitely something to look at for sure. Pantheon not going to change. Definitely don't want to give that to either of these junglers. I mean, Canyon's Pantheon is disgusting. You don't want to see it. Xayah going to be the ban, so could be something they're thinking about saying, hey, we're going to pick Vi. You better ban it. Otherwise, you know, you're not going to have that Xayah to fall back onto.
Staying the same here on the T1 side so far, despite the Xayah ban. Does, you know, end up being the Vi that comes through. Because Vi Rumble could have been the 1-2 rotation for T1. They're looking at something else here first pick-wise. The Azir will come through. So we stay the same on T1 side. Yunara picked here first. There's no Xayah, which has been like an attempted answer, but it hasn't worked out in the laning phase at all. I'm curious to see what Guma's response to this will be. And with no Vi, it's a little bit safer, right? There's no Wukong either. They get a game 2 Yunara draft. This feels more blindable than if you took the Fearless bans away, if we were playing pre-Fearless format.
Yeah. What are we going to see in response to this one? Rumble. So Rumble gets picked. Makes sense. Everything you talked about, you know, no Vi though. So still a very strong pick, still very good.
Xin Zhao Rumble, that was the ban they changed to the Xayah in this one. And it's been Owner's best pick of the year. It does empower a lot of other strong mid picks for Faker too. So I think it's warranted. They opt instead for the Jarvan, which...
Is that the answer into Yunara?
It's quite strong into Yunara, but with her dash, she, you know, obviously doesn't want to use it defensively. Often you want to use it to chase and get in to clean up kills, but there's some additional safety. Now we'll just allow Canyon to play the Xin Zhao, which will buy space, as well as the Galio they're going to play, which is a flex pick here with the Rumble already locked in. Keen has been known to play a little Galio into Rumble on the top side. So a pretty nice setup here for Gen.G in the second game thus far. I'm curious about the bottom lane answer, because Gumacaria are the bottom lane 2v2 kings. We've already discussed this. Like, what's their answer to the Yara? Because we've seen Xayah both times, and that hasn't worked in the laning phase. As Faker will lock in the Orianna first. They already have an incredible ball carrier. There's some real strong combo potential with these 3 picks here for T1.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think they're trying to solve Yunara in a way as well, outside of just picking tier list stuff. And obviously in Fearless, it does feel like the most important thing is to make a comprehensive draft. A bit easier to do in like a game 2 compared to a game 4 or 5 or even 3. So seems like they've gotten some good stuff, but a ton of protection for Yunara so far for Gen.G.
Yeah, I was thinking, are we looking at more frontline for this Yunara to carry, or are we looking at lane partners like a Lulu that has been utilized once already? The Corki will be the first answer to bot lane 2v2 from Gen.G. I think Corki is great into immobile 80 carries in general. It's been one of my favorite picks into Senna. Take the Alistar away. Interesting. Did not expect to see that ban on red side here.
Did that in the last game. No Rakan ban this time around, so maybe that's part of why he had a cheeky wry grin on. No Xayah, of course, to partner with it, but now with the Poppy gone.
Is this just a Guma Caitlyn angle? Or are we going to see, you know, the Ezreal that we've talked about before, where you just kind of poke the... Okay, well, it's going to be Lucian. This has kind of been the angle Guma takes oftentimes when he wants to win lane, and a lot of the other bullies are removed. Corki, the Varus really being the big ones in this case. No Nico, of course, for Keria.
I don't know how do you win lane against Yunara, though? Is Lucian Braum the answer?
I think you either need the Braum. Like, I'm not sure if Lucian Braum is enough, but maybe Lulu could be enough. Lucian Lulu pressure, polymorph.
The Lulu? Lucian Lulu.
Yeah, the Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu.
Lulu.
There we go. Got there eventually. It's going to be the Jace, or not. They're just going to say Yunara is enough damage. And we have more frontline you could ever ask for. I don't know about picking Olaf into Jarvan, though, because kind of can't run through that one. That's not really a thing you can just kind of press R through, but we'll be Mbessa at the end instead. So engage and damage, kind of mixed here. Quite strong in the low-range Lucian. This is the moment where Keria gets to decide what he thinks is best to win this 2v2. And for me, I always just say let him cook.
Lucian Nami. All right, it's actually going to happen. And this is not old Lucian Nami where, you know, they're spiking on one item and their synergy is out of this world. No, it's just an enchanter that's not Lulu.
Yeah, I mean, considering the amount of ways that these melee frontliners can get on top of your Rumble, on top of your Lucian, perhaps the peel of the tidal wave could be arguably more teamfight value. But I kind of like the idea of just sending Jarvan in with Shockwave and then also having an additional knock-up as well as more safety with the Lulu. And Lulu's obviously lane dominant, but again, I trust Keria's judgment in bottom 2v2 matchups more than almost anyone's. So we'll see what this Nami does achieve. Nami also will provide more sustain into this Rakan matchup. Not a ton, not crazy, and shields can often just be good enough to help you win those trades. Let's see if Barrier is taken as well. I actually didn't check right before we went in. We'll see how that one goes out, because maybe a matchup where Guma Keria try to all-in repeatedly. Yeah. Try to put this Yunara down. We've seen only Yunara versus Xayah, if I'm not mistaken, so far, and that has been a crushing victory for Yunara. This is something different.
Yeah, it definitely is. Curious to see how it's all going to work out. There was a sign in there wishing for the Canyon Italy, maybe in Game 3. But first, we got to get through Game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Alrighty, game number 2. Series we expected to be very close. Started off with a mega stomp in game number 2, hoping that Gen.G can turn things around and make this a more even series.
Hoping for that full set today. An awkward level 1 with Jarvan. Guma goes straight to the tri-brush down there. Thought that was a relatively risky play, considering the level 1 prio in this matchup is really big, and might have been multiple members waiting for something like that down there, but they could have also been where that ward is placed, down in the bottom lane at the center, where that action often happens, and where every Korean solo queue game starts these days. We don't just group on the buff anymore.
Yeah. Well, Lucian Nami, in terms of the amount of burst damage you have, maybe it's enough to get them across the line against this Yunara. It does feel like Yunara lanes kind of just hit level 2 first and have the range advantage, and then you just kind of sit back and lose. But yeah. Guma and Keria are trying to have a different approach here.
I mean, the Electrocute on Lucian tells you everything you need to know about why he's chosen this pick. You know, it's often the Nami in the past who would pick that Electrocute. Not this time. Guma is going in. They got that extra airy damage. Nice sidestep from Ruler. Small things like that are so significant, especially when you already have that heal from the quiver. Or quill, excuse me.
Yeah. What is it you called the quill? The...
what did I say? He was a scribe?
Yeah. Best scribe. Level 2 hit here from the side of Guma Keria. There's that Electrocute, and immediately we see Yunara losing lane. It is possible. Ruler, though, is going to step up as they hit level 2 themselves. Does feel like Nami's also a good choice into the Rakan. Just able to do a good job of poking him out.
Just really hard as Ruler to maintain your 8 stacks to Q to actually look for those trades when you have to give up level 1.
Oh, Guma.
What a move right there.
Yep, very slick. Duro definitely could have aimed it slightly better, but at the same time,
they're down heal.
He knew what he was doing. Going back in for more burst damage.
I mean, the airy procs are starting to add up here. Guma still has barrier, obviously, but Keria having the heal gives him additional speed. Potions are traded here, as this is just a war of attrition at this point that Guma Keria are slightly winning. And all eyes are bottom lane. We aren't watching any other matchups because this is where the real action is happening. And Guma and Keria getting a little bit low on mana. And that may be the end of this aggression. I think the level 3 being hit here, Ruler and Duro have kind of weathered the storm.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still Yunara. And by the way, Canyon coming down here quick. Level 4 is going to find Owner and goes immediately in. The Xin Zhao loves to go for the trades, but Guma and Keria are quicker on the play, and Canyon's getting burst down! And down he goes, first blood given over to the Lucian of all champions, as now the flash comes in, double flash away by Gen.G. Looking for a bit more, the double buff here on Guma as well! Wants a little bit more, wants to take down Ruler, but it's not quite going to happen.
Yeah, not quite. Gonna crash this wave though. Be a lot of denied farm. And it's the faster rotation, and it's that residual heal that Keria still has that makes them get there so much faster. They're gonna crush this wave as well, get a second crash through. So Keria, Guma have prio, right? Canyon's here first, but he's seen. And they instantly just run up and heal. And Canyon uses his knock-up onto Owner, and he's just dead. Like, it's just that simple. Duro tries to come over for the assist, gets the knock-up to slow the approach. And yes, flashes are traded here, but it's a 1-for-2 in favor of T1. Guma then commits his and is unsuccessful, so that's one small consolation prize for Gen.G.
Yeah.
But start to look at that CS advantage. It's already stacking up a little bit here. And you're feeling pretty good about the solution pick so far.
Yeah. I feel bad for Canyon because in your mind as a jungler, as Xin Zhao, you're just like, yeah, well, I win this 1v1 100%. But he really did underestimate how quickly Guma and Keria could get over there. And the prio that was in the bot lane also, you know, props to the T1 bottom lane for being able to win that summoner war, which you did talk about, which kind of enabled this all to happen. So now you've got double buff on Lucian, and we kind of have a good idea of where this lane is going to head, in which direction. Also, the lane is actually pushing into T1, although they're immediately pushing that back. So that's irrelevant at this point in time.
Yeah, relevant for like 1 second here, but ultimately won't matter too much. They're not afraid of anything. Just don't get hit by those bubbles. Ruler buys a Cull and a refillable potion.
It's rough when you miss everything, and then the Lucian with double buff just gets to run at you, and like with electrocute.
You have a refillable pot and a Cull. He has a pickaxe and double buff. He got the kill. He is the winner. He got that extra wave, and now looking at it, might have just been the extra gold he needed to pick up that pickaxe there. And Ruler's out of the game early on. And this is starting to be so much of a lead that it's not like, well, he scales later, don't worry. They've got a comp that's set up, by the way. They have 3 melees for this Yunara to be the Fountain Laser in the endgame. And if she just can't get off the ground, you've got nothing. You have no damage in this comp. You have absolutely no way back in.
Well, especially from behind.
That's what I mean. Like, if Ruler's out of the game, like, Plane doesn't get off the ground.
Like, if the Ambessa was able to get something going, if the Galio, you know, who does look to be going a bit tankier, which makes sense with the Ambessa and the Yunara, but yeah, if they all fall behind, which at this point, you know, the top lane is okay. Like, maybe Keen's got an angle, but yeah, this bottom lane is bleeding big time, and T1 got the first dragon as well, which is Infernal. I'm just worried that this game might turn into a little bit of Game 1 vibes, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like it already has. In terms of the tempo, now obviously it's not 3 crushing lanes and tons of deep vision skirmishes happen in Gen.G's jungle yet, but I do feel like we're a few more aggressive trades away from that. And, you know, you saw Chovy rotate over towards Dragon a second ago. You know, he had ult. It's one desperate play that fails for Gen.G away from this game just being done. You know, if Chovy goes for a play like that, they try to deny Dragon, and this Fed, I mean, already accelerated. Let's not say Fed yet, but accelerated Lucian, gets another kill. Chovy's pushed out of the fight. They give up the Dragon and lose a fight as they try to desperately force it. Then the game just ends, right? So Gen.G need to, like, make sure they can cut their losses. They need to tourniquet hard and just try to survive and get this late game Yunara to the late game somehow. And that means they're going to be giving up dragons. If you could steal even just 1 dragon away as Canyon in this game, you're like, okay, it's cool. I'll die for it even. I need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I need anything.
And maybe they earn it. Curious to see if Gen.G's mental is doing okay. That's kind of the first thing I always like to check in on. Obviously, okay, looking for this. Guma going in alone. Big mistake here. He will immediately be punished as Barrier comes through as well. Just wasted, gets the kill over to Ruler, who is now right back in the game.
I mean, a flop like that, that's all you need. Carrier was not anywhere nearby.
Trying to make a play in top lane. Doran all by himself. Thought he was safe with his team taking the grubs nearby. He is actually going to live as they continue to go in on the Doran, who's going to touch the wind, becomes lightning. The damage, though, not quite enough to take down Canyon. But with red buff, I think eventually they get the job done. Meanwhile, Faker is getting bullied here in mid as Duro went for a little gank.
All right,
flash away.
I think 3-game enjoyers can rest a little bit easier now. I'm not saying this is enough to get Gen.G completely back into the game, but that was a bunch of small wins all at once. So notice where Keria is on the minimap.
I think Duro just hit on Bush for a long time.
Yeah, they had control vision. Guma thinks it's a 1v1 and goes for the all-in. Keria obviously is not here at all. They know that, but unfortunately for Guma, he is not aware that it's a 1v2 he's opting into. You can see it on his face, he was like, well, whoops, after that one. Doran here actually lives for an incredible amount of time because of the rotation of a Keria who gives him the heal. Obviously the Jarvan Cataclysm buys some space as well. They end up getting a trade back, but then Faker loses Flash in the exchange that you can see is happening on the minimap in mid.
Meanwhile, down in bottom lane, looks like Guma's not very much enjoying his time into Yunara anymore. And Ruler's making it very apparent that now he is in charge of this lane.
Just no tempo for Guma anymore. And he's playing into lethal tempo Yunara. So when she stacks her Q, or has ult, which she did to go for that all-in just moments ago, you just can't win those longer exchanges, and you can't outrun her really either. And if she slows you one more time, you actually just die. Guma's down Flash now. And what a swing in this game, for real, just off of Duro sitting on a control ward. Yeah. And then obviously what happened top was a big part of that as well.
That doesn't take a whole lot, especially in the early game. Remember the early game of game number 1 was very much, you know, T1 was dominating all the lanes. They got a lot of incremental leads from there. They were able to take some big objectives, and it kind of just flew by in an instant. This game much closer at this point, with a couple of swings back in Gen.G's favor. They're able to pick up 2 grubs. I do wonder, you know, what we're going to see for the second Drake as well. I don't think we're getting double dragon again.
It's hard to say right now whether we'll get that double dragon, as there's still a lead for Guma. Picks up an Essence Reaver. I mean, we're 50 seconds away. If he can secure that prio bottom side there, they have all their ults back up, you know? Like, this is definitely a fightable situation here for T1. I don't think the top laners will be involved, but Owner is top side right now, and so is Canyon. He'll be seen on this ward. See how they want to play this, as it is Infernal and Mountain, so we could have another Hextech Soul. That would be crazy. So Double Dragon would be high value in that case. Faker clears this wave, and they're looking to potentially group up now for Dragon. Rotation down for Owner, albeit slow, is starting. He's actually on Raptors here, as they're just sitting on this Cryo, dueling it out.
All right, Cullen to come down as well. You can tell that they are certainly trying their absolute best to make sure they have Cryo here for the Drake.
Yeah, the timing of this works out. Like, he clears Raptors, Owner does, and now he can rotate over. He will actually get hit by that ward on his way over, so they'll see the timing of this. Canyon's here to contest. Like, Guma needs to be very careful. He's still flashless, mind you.
They're going in out of the Nami. There is the bubble, and Duro nearly dies! Meanwhile, in the fight, as we do see that Ruler has to back away immediately. Bit of damage did come in. Ruler wasn't really in trouble, but they don't have their Rakan anymore. Now Ruler in a bit of trouble, but they go down to Guma and burst him down. Canyon says, now it's my time to get it done. Owner desperate for the kill on a Duro. They just can't get this dang Rakan, and it's going to be a double kill here for the Xin Zhao. Meanwhile, Faker getting bullied in mid by Keen of all people, who has ganked, and Faker just did not expect that.
Okay, big catch here onto Canyon. I don't know if it's enough, though, and in fact, Doran in trouble!
Who's getting caught this time? It's not going to be Canyon. Picks up 2 kills, and the Gen.G fans are losing it right now.
I mean, I was going to say this, the turn in this game, or the turn around, felt like a pendulum swing, but it feels like a weighted pendulum now. Coming down so hard, it feels like it's going to break through the side of T1. As initially here, going for the flashless Nami makes a lot of sense, but Keria hits his ult and the bubble, but Guma isn't quite able to finish off Duro. Drops his barrier critically. Definitely wishes he had it for this upcoming turn, where Canyon's like, oh, you're going on to my AD carry? just snaps onto Guma. Ruler gets the empowered W snipe with his ultimate, takes him out. Duro flashes to make sure Owner can't cataclysm him, and Owner's just left to dry here as Doran TP's in, and then triples down on this play, and yes, takes Duro out.
They finally got him.
It means that Faker is also left in the 1v2 with a top laner that's rotated mid, so yes, you do get 1 kill, but you die anyways. You get 2 over here, you get Faker over, and Chovy's just showing up because he's like, oh, I thought you guys were having some trouble down.
We're gonna have to look at this top fight. Doran's in a lot of trouble. He's trying to run to his jungler. I think Keen should sniff this one out, but he's still gonna go in, gets the kill. As now Redemption is coming down here. Gonna help out the side of T1 as going to miss a bunch here onto Keen. He's still going in. Owner doesn't quite have the damage. Gonna miss the flag and drag. Back in goes Keen. Not scared of these guys. Takes him down again. And meanwhile in mid, Guma's just dead as well. And this time it's Gen.G's turn to just absolutely Harlem Globetrotter.
I mean, Faker, where
all
you
over
going?
the rift. Faker doesn't know where he's going. He's lost.
Well, Canyon decides he doesn't want to trade flashes and wants to get a dragon. Faker's just trying to pull him off the dragon, I suppose.
Oh, boy.
Chemtech Soul, so we didn't high roll, but it's not a double dragon anyways. So if game 1 was Harlem Globetrotters, maybe game 2 is a little bit of a rehearsal. Maybe some of the bugs need to be worked out. I don't know what to say in this one. Maybe Unara is broken, by the way, but that's kind of unrelated to what's happening in this game.
Still broken, but yeah.
T1 had a great position bottom lane. Okay, that much will always stay true. But what happened next, all over the map, everywhere, where T1 just played insanely greedily and disrespectful. Gen.G are just like, you're falling apart fast on a house of cards. This is Keen's first-person view on the kill here, and then the 1v2 that ensues as the Redemption goes down. That actually helps him quite a bit. Keria drops everything, misses the bubble critically, which allows Keen to play it out.
Yeah.
How many dashes? Somebody count them.
All of them. Oh, we're doing it again. This time it's actually T1 trying to take down Keen, as they have tried many times before.
Another Redemption.
Keen lives. Owner's going in. Big shockwave is going to catch 2. As Keen, they finally did it. They finally got him. And at the end of the day, it takes Guma and Keria to come over here and zone Canyon away, but Gen.G are winning everywhere.
Yeah, Chovy gets a whole turret bottom side. They already had feats of strength. It'll be his second turret he picks up this game. And they're going to get the Herald as well. You know, we were talking about how like it almost was over. Like, oh man, Guma has such a lead. All they have to do is not mess it up.
Immediately caster curse.
Yeah. And even though it looks like we're heading to game 3, and I don't want to call it early, like, I don't know if I like the path we took there. As, yeah, this time it's better. They get Keen, but Canyon is so huge. And, I mean, Redemption goes down, he gets Honeyfruit. Like, this just buys so much time. And Chovy is not in ult range, but, man, imagine if Chovy was actually nearby as well, what they could have done with this comp. But he gets a turret anyways. And, yeah, Sundered Sky's pretty good. Unara also.
Are they trying to kill
good.
Keen again?
Yeah, and guess who's here? Keen's best companion.
Really trying to kill Keen, and I think this time they did it. The damage is there. He's not able to get all the different dashes and procs and all the fun stuff, so they did it. They finally got a clean kill onto Keen, who has been just terrorizing them up in the top lane.
Wants to defend this turret, deny a bounty, but I mean, Owner is here. And Doran's Equalizer's coming back up. They might actually be able to, I mean, they should be able to at least force him off of it.
Objective bounties already.
Yeah.
17 minutes in.
But I mean, Chovy gets a turret in exchange, and sure, the bounty makes it a trade up for T1, but are you really gaining that much? I mean, they don't even get the turret yet, in fact.
Yeah, it's just a little bit.
A TP.
I feel like the bigger issue is that, you know, while T1 might be able to keep this a little bit close, they still got Electrocution against Unara.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
So it's like,
And if Ruler had not been able to get unlocked in this game, I think our assessments earlier were correct, right? Like, this comp just isn't going to function, but now he's 3-0-3. Went Kraken Slayer for Runen, so he'll have his spike, his big spike.
Whoa, wait, what is happening?
They want to kill Keen again.
Keen's got a pretty good read, but how long will they hide on bush? how long
He's like, I'm just going to go up in the lane and...
until it's worth?
Bye.
Are they still there?
I think yes.
Yes. They're still there. They're absolutely still there. TP's even Guma's here. He's just able to come in. There's 2 kills and maybe 3. Oh no, Gen.G, what's going on here? Is now trying to ult the way he actually will be able to. Nicely done by Chovy to make the best of a bad situation.
That should finally be the turret for T1 in the bottom lane.
This game is just wild.
Yeah, I want off T1 Gen.G Game 2's wild ride.
Can't handle this. It's still a giant lead for Gen.G, but like the tactics at play here, Wolf.
Yeah, do you think Faker was the one who gave the call to hide on Bush?
I would say yes.
I would say yes as well. I would bet big money on it, in fact. This is just really unfortunate. They sweep, they go in, Guma shows up, and I mean, it's just a routing of this bottom lane, and then Chovy is barely able to get out here. The timing of this with phase rush as he avoids that flag drag to stop his ultimate. He just barely gets out because, I mean, he's like a few frames away from being a 3rd casualty down there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, if Keria was actually a robot, he would have stopped that. Sometimes I think he is based on what I see, but yeah, now I know it's not true.
Can we kill Keen an additional time?
I mean, the damage from Dorn is actually pretty legitimate at this point, as now it's going to be the flash out. Owner getting sped up, but they say, okay, we'll just take the turret instead. Meanwhile, the Drake is going to go over to Gen.G, so they get that first Chemtech Drake.
So right now, I want to remind everyone, because T1's had a few wins in a row, that's still a 4,000 gold lead. A Herald is crashing in mid. And I do want to remind people that right now, T1 is doing everything they can, which is focusing the isolated soul laner and taking turrets and not fighting 5v5s. Because they need to somehow get this deficit back and get Guma to a 3rd item here and look for some big combos with Jarvan. Like, they need to be able to kill Yunara in team fights, that's the main thing, but they're playing into the same front line, right? But right now, they cannot 5v5 into this accelerated Yunara at all. So they're kind of doing anything they can to hide on Bush, like make him play topside, just ignore any objective. Luckily for them, it's Chemtech Dragon. They have an Infernal Dragon already, so just stay away from those Gen.G members and hopefully things will get better later. Sure, Ruler is great at late game, but he's already kind of good now, so hopefully we can kill him with our Jarvan Orianna combo. That's the hope, that's the dream, that's the prayer for T1 taking a 2-0 here. As,
it definitely does feel a bit like a prayer, right? Yeah. Gen.G are, it feels like they've woken up a bit after the game 1. I say that, Canyon does have to flash away. So T1, they're not going to take the avoid route that you were mentioning, Wolf. They're going to take the, we're just going to fight you at every turn.
I mean, in this case, they had the better setup. Like, Gen.G were completely split. Like, Ruler was not there, and T1 are ready to pounce, so they get a flash. I think if Gen.G are set up as 5, you can't make plays like that, but when T1 are first on the objective, they can hunt summoners, and hunt they will. And, I mean, still, now Gen.G are going to reset. Now they are S5, and now they can start to get control over this area here around the dragon. It's not up, of course, but start to threaten these inner turrets. I mean, this is the kind of control Gen.G has right now, and Ruler is ready to fight. He is ready to press R.
Oh, speaking of which, Keen immediately finds the backline. Faker in a ton of trouble, has to just flash out of their owner. He's the sacrifice for the rest of the team. Doran gonna get charmed up. Keen actually gonna go down, though. Did Gen.G push too far? Bit of burst damage does come out, but Ruler a bit low. Chovy looking for the turn. Chovy, he's got the angle, but everybody tries to flash away. They only get the Nami. Still, it's going to be a pick as they look for Faker as well. Canyon on the backside here. Faker just going forward. Knows he's dead. And Gen.G find 2 more.
It looked scary for a moment, but there's just so much peel for Ruler. You got the Ambessa, but you didn't get every other member, including Duros, Rakan, which is super frustrating to deal with in these types of skirmishes. Is Guma did so much damage, but he's like, I'm out of cooldowns. You guys are going to have to buy some time. And he survives, limps away from the fight, but cannot catch Ruler. Faker tried, because this is just going to be Otacon. All of that bottom side pressure was putting Deep Vision into the jungle, forcing a fight that T1 didn't want to take because Otacon was spawning. Had spawned and now is in the hands of Gen.G, a further lead here. As it's like, okay, angle is there for Keen, he's on the flank. Equalizer, not on Ruler. Owner, Cataclysm, kind of on Ruler. Ruler's health bar, yeah, still full. Guma gets the Ambessa, and then, okay, look at this. Guma's like, I used my abilities, ruler barriers, and he's like, all right, well, that's it. And trying to force any further here, I think, is a big, big risk. And Chovy, man, he's known for these top plays.
Yeah. They
changed Galio for him.
I know. This is the Chovy turn. Faker's got some of it in his time, but I feel like I remember Chovy's turns just an insane amount more like this one over here we've seen so many times.
I mean, Faker's Galio won T1, a recent world championship, so the scale is quite high, but I think...
And even so.
Like Chovy, and that big taunt we had, what was it, 2021? Or 2020, rather, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was pretty early on. 2020 was like 5 years ago, wow.
Yeah.
It was quite a long time ago now. It's funny how the years pass by. And
Ruler has an IE. So that's the time passes by. Sometimes you blink and Yunara has her 3-item spike.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, it was kind of hard to kill him before, and he did a lot of damage. And now he's like just gonna one-shot people. And then like it does AOE around him, and Kraken Slayer's gonna proc.
Yes. That is the way it works.
And he has Flash too, and like a Galio. So it does seem like a difficult problem to solve at this point. Is Yunara broken? Like I don't know. I don't know if this game is fair though.
I'm gonna declare it. No, not even this game.
I just don't think this game is the one that's decisive enough. But
it's all the games we've seen. I'm like, nah, this is just too good.
Because I was a little bit skeptical. By the way, Ruler was like the only one who was like, this champ owns in lane, by the way. Everyone else is kind of like, it's a little situational. And then Ruler had to play into the Lucian Nami, got owned, but then Duro said, hold up.
It's like one turnaround play, and immediately she just took over the game.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the end. And champs that can do that are some of the best in the game.
And it's against low-range AD carries where she's had the most success outside of the 2v2, right? Like, you could just walk up on Guma and be like, all right, you can't out-damage me. By the way, you're running Electrocute. That was really cool in the first few minutes of the game, but not going to be enough damage to kill me. Got a barrier, right? Like, he got the barrier in the last big skirmish that happened around the blue buff, but on spawn, Gen.G gonna look for this Baron. Chovy has ult, can be there in a moment's notice. Faker has TP as well, but they have that one sneaky ward. I mean, that's the best you can really say about T1's position here.
They're gonna look for Ruler. I think they're gonna try to wombo Ruler, but I don't know if they can. Meanwhile, the turn is coming in from the side of Gen.G. They want to just go for the fight here. Meanwhile, Faker's gonna go down. Not even sure what happened to him as he just kind of got killed. Meanwhile, at the same time, Duro also went in and died. But they stopped the Baron, so
yeah,
I suppose a small win for T1. It's still extremely winning for Gen.G at this point.
Watch how quick Guma barriers as well in this situation.
Faker TP'd into Galio.
Yeah, so he just dies. But also, like, this situation was pretty scary for the Lucian there at the back. If Ruler was able to get in there, he might have had a problem. He is safe ultimately there. It's a trade, but it's a trade up for Gen.G. As Canyon is so big that he's just running at solo laners now.
Yeah. Chovy pushing a bit. TP comes in. This is from Duro. So just kind of jumping over to the team.
Yeah, they don't have Baron buff, but they do have a 3.5 item Yunara, so it's basically the same thing. Kind of just group up.
Maybe it's better, I don't know.
They basically just group up and say like, if you want to fight us, like maybe our minions aren't empowered, but I don't think you want to be anywhere near
yeah,
or 80 carry.
We can see Guma's consistently trying. I feel like, honestly, the answer might just be to Wombo and hope that Ruler doesn't flash. Or, you know, rely on Owner to like flag drag flash, and then maybe you've got enough. But if that doesn't happen, Gen.G just have too much control.
See where that ward is that's pinged just the bottom of the screen, the bottom right above the minimap, right there? Hope that you catch Ruler right there. You know, like he's been known to be caught at this particular location when he's on blue side. On red side, it's like the opposite one on the other Raptors. So I think that's T1, you know? Maybe Ruler gets caught. So far, not looking likely. Not too hopeful about it.
Yeah. Got Mortal Reminder finished here for Guma. Some more crit
Hide
on
on
the
bush.
side of Yunara, hiding on bush once again, but Jovi the tank is the one that checks the brush, and that's what you want. The charm comes in on Adoran, and he is just evaporated. Keen once more, gonna go in on it 4, as now we've got the follow-up from the Galio that's gonna keep him alive, although I don't think they need to continue in, but now Ruler finds his angle, just presses forward, and there's nothing that they can do, as the Yunara just rips them to shreds, picks up 2 kills, and Gen.G have this one in the bag.
Yeah. Wow. 2 one-sided games here to start off our series. I mean, it looked at the very beginning of this one like it might be 2 for T1 with the way the bottom 2v2 went, but everything changed in an instant. And then this Yunara, we're like, I don't know if she's gonna get off the ground. Like, she's got a Cole, you know, Cole Doran's blade. He's got a pickaxe. There's just no way.
Like behind 20 plus CS at
Yeah,
some point.
we were like, I guess Ruler just isn't going to get to show us what his Yunara is. We were very wrong at that point in time. We could have known. And then fights like this, just wait for Ruler. Wait for it. He's still closing the gap. Oh, God, the damage! Guma's like, hold on, I can get him. No, you can't. No chance.
Not even close. Yeah, 9-0 and 4. And, you know, I kind of like the way they played that. It was like in and out, absorbing damage until everything had been used, and then Yunara gets her chance, and it's just GG. Owner, yeah, you're going to get Mega Cone engaged on. Make it kill number 10 for Ruler, and looking for even more, as Cannon will pick up a 6th kill of his own.
I do like how you mentioned how well that was played by Gen.G that last fight we had in the replay, because basically T1 were backwards leapfrogging to try to maybe jump on Yunara, but it couldn't happen as Faker is just...
Yeah, well, he's going to be kited out and killed. The 7th kill goes over to Canyon. Man, these games, Ruler's just running at him, eating a culling to the face, doesn't care at all. And yeah, the game is over. Game 1 was extremely one-sided to T1. This one is the same one-sided to Gen.G. Yeah, there was like that 5 minutes that T1 had, and then it was just over. And we're going to a Game 3. Our wishes come true.
Here we go, Game 3, 30 minutes here, almost on the dot. T1 routed. And we mentioned we thought maybe Ruler wasn't going to get off the ground. I think he had his full Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan arc in this one.
Yeah,
From 0 to hero.
Shout out to Duro as well, hiding on bush.